Racing on Tuesday out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, we have got race number 1 that commences over the 1,000 meter trip at 12:40. It is a 9-race program, so the bar pod will commence in race number 2. I'm joined by Alistair Cohen on the line. Alistair, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
Yeah, Raheel, nice quiet weekend for me. It ended up being obviously with Durbanville supposed to move from Saturday to Monday and then not happening at all on Monday. So ended up a good couple of days off and get back into the swing of things from Thursday. So yeah, all good. At least the Springboks won, at least the Proteas won the series. So life is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, race number 1 out at Durbanville on Tuesday. 7 Strata, the favourite at 12-10. It is Fanny Kemble at 11-2. It is 6-1 Bright Duchess, 8-1 and Better Ball. Those now, this horse Strata, 12-10. I think that's a bit skinny in the market. She's a horse, what you see is what you get by the looks of it. And beaten favourite in her last 4 starts. Not quite sure how much of confidence punters can have on her.
So, to me, Raheel, I think this is a 2.5 horse race. I'll go through the half first. 5 Fanny Kemble, because I'm not sure how she's going to go dropping in distance. To me, she was doing her best work at the end last time out when getting beaten by Ewan again. But I have the time of day for her. The combination of Danielson and Cotson's come alive of late. And then the 2 horses that I'm most interested in, number 2, Bright Duchess. The debut might have looked moderate, but certainly one to improve on. But when you consider Beach Bomb as a subsequent feature race winner, there's definitely a nice base to work off with number 2, Bright Duchess. I suppose the only kicker with all of Dean Cannemeier's horses in Cape Town especially is how fit they're going to be. He doesn't race his horses in Cape Town in August, so they might just need a run to hit their straps. So that might just default to number 7, Strata. I agree with you. I'm a little bit skeptical. To me, I thought that she was outdone by a very, very smart debutant in the form of La Divina last time, but she still ran 3rd. There was still a horse ahead of her. So that's a little bit of a worry with number 7, Strata. I see a full set of Alamites are declared on her. Whether that makes any difference, I don't know. I tentatively tip her on top because of the disclaimers I have with the other 2 horses I like in the race, but thankfully it's not part of the exotics, but not that I can see too much danger other than those 3.
Yeah, you're quite right. Number 2, Bright Duchess. There's definitely lots of scope for improvement from this 3-year-old daughter of Duke of Marmalade, and one to keep an eye on. Moving along to race number 2, 1,250 meters, maiden plate for fillies and mares, which will kick off the bar pot. And Ellerix tops the boards along with Montreal, both at 28-10, 7-1 about Go Like Flow. It's then 10-1 and Better Ball. Those now, I think these 2 horses will possibly fight out the finish. Ellerix and Montreal, I think, will be helped by the drop back in trip, because last time out she just didn't seem to see out the 1,600 meters and got a good draw, so she's got the draw advantage. But this horse Purple Mint Green keeps me interested, because last time out she found a touch of support. She just never really got into the race, but from draw 1, maybe she's just needed a few runs under the belt.
So you mentioned one horse that I like. Well, you actually mentioned 2 horses that I like, and one that you may have missed, and that's sort of in the middle of the boards. I want to start with number 1, Pineapple Mint Green, because I like her too, Raheel. Her debut was good behind Winter Rainfall. Winter Rainfall's a nice filly trained by Candice Bass Robinson, and it's one of the stronger form lines, one of the stronger maiden form lines in the Cape. Second time out, I don't really know what to make of the run. Maybe it was first time Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Maybe she's looking for a bit further now. She's worth excusing for that run, put it like that. And out of gate 1, I think number 1, Pineapple Mint Green, is worth including into your bipod. My top choice here is number 12, Ellerix. The draw's obviously a bit of a concern, but last run was good. To me, she looks like a horse that's not far away from winning. The penultimate start, ignore that. That was the day that they had one race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and then called the meeting off due to bad weather. They were so spaced out on that occasion that it's hard to read too much into that form. But the horse at a bit of a price that I like is number 9, La Pequinita. There was a whisper about her first time out. She didn't rip up any trees, but she can only improve. She had the worst of the draws then. She's not got a great draw this time around, but at least she'll have a bit of cover and has horses on her outside. I think she'll learn a lot, and I think stepping up in distance will help her. I don't know if she's ready to win, but she's going to be my money maker in the race. I'm going to put her into swingers, trifectas, and quartets. So 1, 9, and 12, the horses that I'm working with. 12 my top choice, Respect for 1, and 9 I expect to be in the money.
Yeah, horse number 9, 10 to 1 in the market, quite a decent price, and I agree with Alistair there. There was quite a bit of talk about this filly on debut. Michelle Ricks, in fact, expected her to run a forward race, but she didn't really put her best foot forward, but she's definitely one to keep an eye on in race number 2. Moving along to the third race on the program, 1400 meters the trip. This is an open maiden for fillies and mares, where Rainbow Laurie Keat is your 12 to 10 favorite. It's 6 to 1 about Enchanted Sky, 7 to 1 Miracle in Motion, Look Forward, 8 to 1 and better bar those. Alistair, this is not particularly a race where I agree with the market. I think this filly is too short, returning off a layoff. Draw 1, definitely a huge advantage, but I think number 2, Enchanted Sky, is a lot of value at 6 to 1 in the market. Given her last start was over 12.50 from a 10 out of 12 draw, doing her best work at the finish. Step up in trip, good draw. I can see this filly running a huge race, and obviously we have to ignore that penultimate start behind October Morn in that feature race, and her form is pretty decent.
Yeah, I think the winner comes from one of those two, Raheel, but I do think number 1, Rainbow Laura Keat, will have the edge over number 2, Enchanted Sky. The place accumulator is my suggested bet, and I bank number 1 in my PA. Excuse me. You do find a lot of strong maidens in Cape Town, especially this time of year, but this, to my eyes, not a very strong maiden. Perhaps the improvers, number 9, Lady Luck, coming back from a layoff. But I don't see too many horses that will be targeting the Cape Fillies Guineas this season coming out of this. Number 1, Rainbow Laura Keat's got the form to recommend. You're right about the layoff, comes back from 69 days, but that's not an eternity. Number 2, Enchanted Sky, the only horse who I think can match her, as you mentioned, from the draw, complete reversal of last time, feature race tested. So yes, the case for number 2, Enchanted Sky, is there. But to my mind, number 1, Rainbow Laura Keat, I like the way that she stepped up going the trip last time out. I think she'll get better with racing. I think she'll get better over further as well. So for me, number 1, Rainbow Laura Keat, deserves her place at the top of the boards, and for me, she's a PA banker.
Yeah, all in here with horse number 1, Rainbow Laurie Keat, in the start of that PA. Race number 4, which will be the start of the pick 6, 1600 meters the trip. This is an open maiden that jumps at 2:30. Trippy Silk, 16 to 10. It is renowned at 9 to 2. All About Ronnie, 5 to 1. 7 to 1 about Run Rudolph Run, 10 to 1 and better bar those. Now, I think that this race is a one-horse race with this horse, Trippy Silk. I think last time out he was, possibly just caught a bit too far off his ground. Horses weren't really making up ground on that day, and he sort of ran on best off the rest for third. And Hat's Pride came out to run quite a useful second straight out the maidens behind Yamadori, and I think this horse will love the step up in trip, and I'm happy to take my chances in the pick 6 and banker him.
And also remember, with Hat's Pride, that was the race where the gentleman's agreement among the jockeys went out the window, and Yamadori stuck to the inside. So you can add extra impetus to the run of Hat's Pride. I was very close to bankering number 5, Trippy Silk here. I've just backed it up at number 7, All About Ronnie, because I heard a word about him a week ago in Cape Town, that he just needed his last run. Still lastly to no apology. So I've just left it open-ended from that point of view. But in my heart of hearts, I think number 5, Trippy Silk, hard horse to beat. Stepping, excuse me. Improving all the while. Aldo De Meo on board, gets a 3-kilo pull from number 7, All About Ronnie. Probably, as you say, left with too much to do last time out, going up to a mile for the first time. The more I talk about it, the more I like number 5, Trippy Silk. But like I said, just going to keep it open-ended with number 7 on the card, All About Ronnie. I know he's a bit of a battler, but he seems to have just turned the corner of, when I say turn the corner of late, got form to recommend that a win's not too far away.
Yeah, All About Ronnie at around 5 to 1 in the market. Maybe one that you want to throw into the mix along with horse number 5, Trippy Silk, who's the one to beat. Race number 5, 1600 meters. It is a class 5 event, 3:05, the off time, the start of jackpot 1. And here, Lucha Verde, like the Clappers, joint favorites at 28 to 10, 4 to 1 about No Apologies. And then it's 6 to 1, very unique, 7 to 1 and better bar those. Now, like the Clappers, he's a one-time winner. He's got the best of the draws, which obviously is an advantage. He's stepping up in trip to 1600 meters, which will definitely suit him. But this horse, Lucha Verde, you obviously mentioned, I think when we did the preview for Monday's meeting, that Brett Crawford mentioned that this horse showed absolutely nothing back at home, and he wasn't really expecting much on debut, but he's open to any amount of improvement now.
So, yeah, that's the key with number 3, Lucha Verde. Raheel, lovely story, well, just from my side about this horse. When he made his debut, Brett phoned me and excuse me, and told me how to pronounce his name. Lucha Verde, which means green lights, and I cheekily asked, can he run? And he said, shows nothing. So after the race, I sent him a message, said, wow, that's a hell of a run, and he was very excited. So you can tell by the drift that obviously expectations are quite low. On debut, no interest in the market. Second time out, no interest in the market. Second time out, beat Norshon. Norshon ran a place last week at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, so happy enough with how that form is working out. You'd much rather have a horse who shows nothing in the mornings and brings it to the track. So number 3, Lucha Verde, could very well be the case. What makes me lean towards number 1, though, like the Clappers, is the fact that I know questioning is targeting the Cape Guineas. And like the Clappers, obviously received 4.5 kilos from questioning, but still ran close enough to a horse who ran on quite well on that occasion, ran past like the Clappers as if he was standing still, granted. But still, if you weigh up that Lucha Verde wouldn't have been thought of a Guineas, probably still not thought of a Guineas contender. If he wins this, maybe they'll have sort of visions of grandeur with number 3, Lucha Verde. But like the Clappers, I know is being set up for a tilt at the Guineas, then maybe that just swings things into the favour of like the Clappers. And he also gets 4 kilos from Lucha Verde. My backup here is number 9, Incredible. I think he's inclined to need the run. He's been off for a long time, Raheel, 286 days. But I think the best version of Incredible is a dangerous version of Incredible. I think he's probably an underperformer, but runs to the likes of Silvano's Timer once upon a time. Even in a Morare, some of those runs are definitely good enough to recommend. So if he comes out fresh and well and not showing ill effects after quite a long layoff, I think number 9, Incredible, can sneak into the top 4 and maybe make things pay. But 1 and 3, the most interesting runners, 9 just for a bit of value in the places.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned number 9, Incredible, because I actually had a look at this individual. I had a second look at him, and the booking of Bernard Fade Herb maybe just signals intent. Obviously, he's doing a lot of work for Vaughan Marshall, but this horse returning off a rest, Vaughan Marshall could have put absolutely anyone on the horse just to possibly give him a run if he was in need of it. But Bernard aboard, and maybe he's want to keep an eye on horse number 9, Incredible, at around 7-1 in the market. But Alistair likes the chances of number 1, like the Clappers, at around 28-10. Moving along to race number 6, the Cape Sea Stakes over 2,000 meters, 12:40. The off time, the start of Jackpot 2, and your market has got Katsu at the top at 7-2, 5-1 Gentleman Joe, 6-1 Lucy the Pink, 6-1 Exceeder, 7-1 and Better Bar those. I quite like the chances of number 1 Katsu from the best of the draws. He hasn't had the best of luck in his last 2 starts. Last time out he was caught out 3 deep, raced with no cover, and he still ran a very pleasing race. And we saw rule of thumb, Frankie's own form during the week, quite comfortably in fact. And I think the step up in trip to 2,000 meters, just based on his pedigree, should be ideal. And around 7-2, I still believe there's quite a bit of value in the price of number 1 Katsu.
Interesting race, trappy race. I found it tough. I respect Katsu, obviously on the run to rule of thumb. Finished, finished behind Gentleman Joe and just in front of Sylvan Theatre. Sorry, guys. Just in terms of collateral form, Katsu should turn it around at the weights, but I have a question mark against him going 2,000 meters. I hear what you say. For the first time in his life, he's got a draw. He was exposed last time out. Bernard Fade Herb takes a ride. So all of that points to a nice run from Katsu, but I think number 5, Gentleman Joe, excuse me, just as a rule from Andre Nall, his horses tend to need that first runs back after a layoff, and I thought it was a good run to rule of thumb. And I think now going him to a more preferred distance, 2,000 meters for the second time in his life. Remember, he's been 2-4 and ran a 5.5 lengths to Winchester Mansion of level weights. So the distance will be of no concern for number 5, Gentleman Joe. So I'm going to give him the vote of confidence to stay ahead of number 1, Katsu, and defy the weights. My other horse here is number 10 on the card, Lucy the Pink. I know she's got a bit of a bad draw, but I've been watching her quite closely. I don't like the fact that she got a penalty for running second at her penultimate start to Zippy Over, but since she's got an extended distance, she seems to be a lot better. Since the blinkers came off, she seems to be a lot better, and the yards in form. So maybe number 10, Lucy the Pink, is worth throwing into the place accumulator here.
So 5 and 10 there for Alistair. That's Gentleman Joe and Lucy the Pink, 5-1, 6-1, the respective prices. And he likes the chances of Gentleman Joe to confirm that form behind a rule of thumb. Race number 7, the next race on the program, 1,400 meters a trip, a class 5 event for fillies and mares. Among the clouds, 2-1, Call Me Jetrix at 4-1, Wugug at 11-2, along with Charlene, 6-1, and Better Baldos. I thought it's quite a trappy contest. I think number 3, Misty Cliffs. Now, she's a horse that is drawn well. Last 2 starts, 10 and 10, but she's actually caught the eye towards the finish. 2.5 lengths behind Catalea and then 3 lengths behind Enemy Territory. And in Class 5 company, so it's a step down in class on her last performance. Bernard in the irons. I think that she could run a nice race at 8-1.
Raheel, spot on. Spot on. I like Misty Cliffs. I actually called her last 2 starts. In her penultimate start, please be with me, she was desperately unlucky. She was getting going, she caught the eye. If she had a good draw, and I believe if it was 1,600 meters, she wins. I know this is still 1,400. And then last time out, excuse me, also staying on behind Enemy Territory from a bad draw, she moved up with a lot in hand and didn't quite go on with it. Like I say, I do wish this was a mile, but I like the fact that Bernard's back on board. I think that she set up for her best chance of winning since her maiden, and I think she could get rewarded here. I think ultimately who might the best horse in the race end up being could be number 2 Among the Clouds. Grant Finike takes the ride. Post-maiden run to Catalea was a good one. Her finishing second, less than a length behind. There's a lot in her favour, also being lightly raced and unexposed and untapped, that she could improve past them all. So I've got 2 and 3 in, but number 3, Misty Cliffs, at the price, I think makes a lot of appeal.
Yeah, definitely 8-1, the current price of number 3, and both Alistair and myself, we like this filly as a nice value play in the 7th. Moving along to race number 8, over 1,000 meters. It's a Class 4 event for fillies and mares, and we've got the exciting Candy Town back in action, and she's priced up as your favorite at 5-2, 4-1, Lady Lookalike, 11-2, Flying First, 7-1, and Better Bar. Those now, this filly Candy Town, she was ultra impressive last time out, straight out the maidens, beating Palo Queen. She just never looked like she was going to get caught, but she's got to deal with a 7-point penalty. She's gone up 4 kgs in the weights. I think there's quite a bit against her in this event, but obviously if she were to come through and win once again, then she'd be a filly that I think they could have a few nice races in mind. I think there's a horse at a bit of a price here, number 1, Silver Screen, that could offer some value at 14-1. Now, she's got the best of the draw. She's dropped 3 points after her last start. She's come down from an 82 down to a 63. And when you have a look at her last start, she's 5.5 kgs better off with Candy Town for a 4 and a quarter of a length beating. And I think she could get closer to the action at 14-1.
I was so impressed with Candy Town last time, Raheel. The first time I called her, and she was so dominant. The way that she won from start to finish, she cruised in, absolutely cruised in. If she's going to be anything, she ought to win this. I hear what Andre Nel was saying after the last run, saying that he's a little bit concerned that she's a tearaway and probably needs to teach her the right way of racing. But I think while she's doing it like this on what is a very quick track at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, she's going somewhere, whereas number 1, Silver Screen, is in her place. I do agree on paper. Silver Screen should get much closer. She probably will get much closer as well. But Candy Town has got a bit of quality about her, so I banked her in the PA. Excuse me. The horse that I think might represent a bit of a kicker here. Not saying that she's going to win the race, but I think she could run into the first four. Number 7, Highly Confidential. I don't think she'll be too far away. She had a bad draw at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth last time down the straights in that mud. You had absolutely no hope on the outside. So she made a bit of progress after getting across and running her race in the first 400 meters. So 7, Highly Confidential. I expect to run a better race, but number 5, Candy Town, with her biggest weapon being a gate speed, very, very hard horse to beat for me.
Yeah, number 5, Candy Town, ultra impressive in her last 2 starts, and she's definitely going to be the top choice for both Alistair and myself, yeah, because she looks to be quite a decent sort, but as I mentioned, number 1, Silver Screen, could be some value maybe for swingers. Race number 9, the final race on the day. It is a Class 4 event, 1,250 meters a trip. Moya Walla Liga, 22-10 in the market. It is 9-2 Savantrix, 5-1 Double Olympic, 7-1 and Better Bar. Those now, Moya Walla Liga, loser last time out, got a penalty of 3 points. He's drawn in gate number 1 once again. So draws is something that he's been lucky with in his first 2 starts in Cape Town. And he's obviously going to have every chance from the draw with 61.5. But looking past him, I think there's a bit of value with horse number 2, Fort Red. Now, he's held on that Cafe Culture run, but I don't believe that was his true performance. I'm happy to forgive him for that run. And last time out, Richard used him up from the draw, went forward, and he ran a fair race behind a Bright Blue Sky. Second in the race was Veldskun, who we thought would run a nice race on this Monday. And from gate number 2, course and distance suited, I think 10-1 is a generous price as opposed to 22-10 about Moya Wala Liga.
You know, that might be a very good find, Raheel. I've left number 2, Fort Red, up, but while you were talking, the more evidence his chances became. And he's obviously very well performed, far better performed than anyone else in the race. He's earned 462,000 Rand, double what anyone else has earned. So, yeah, that might be a nice find. Maybe worth putting into certainly pick sixes and the second jackpots. I've gone with 1 and 12. I think Moya Wala Liga was only beaten by the rider Bernard Fade Herb on Cafe Culture last time out. You know, the first run in Cape Town, you're entitled to sort of be a little bit flat. Hopefully, he's you know, brushed off the cobwebs with that run under the belt. So I think that with Bernard now on board, number 1 Moya Wala Liga, there should be a lot to come with the son of Rafif. And I think that he's the one that they all got to beat. I mean, he's turned the corner under Gareth Van Zyl. Looked like he was going nowhere quickly in Joburg, but Gareth's turned him around, so that's good to see from number 1, Moya Wala Liga. The horse that interests me other than that is number 12, Double Olympic. Please be with me. He absolutely hacked in on debut at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. I know that was nearly 3 months ago, but he looked the part in beating Snowcloud. He came from the back of the field, but 400 meters out, I called him the winner, and he duly delivered. This will be a bigger test for him. He's drawn out deepest, so nothing will be easy, but I like the way that he dropped in on debut. So if he can produce the same turn of foot, especially on a track that's running so fast, then number 12, Double Olympic, is the most interesting horse in the race. I have time for number 7, Savantrix as well, but for me, numbers 1 and 12, I'm going to hold it to 2 in the place accumulator, but in the pick 6 after your find of number 2, Fort Red, Raheel, he's also going in.
Yeah, number 12, Double Olympic, certainly a very, very interesting contender in this event. And I'm sure if he had a better draw with him, I'm sure Alistair would be more confident about his chances in this contest. But it does look to be a race with a few horses in with a chance, and Moya Wala Liga tops the boards at 22-10. We're going to move along to the suggested bet, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet for racing on Tuesday out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Alistair, take it away.
Okay, so the place accumulator begins at 5-2, so it's a bit of a late start to the meeting. Don't miss out. By the way, I think the pools will be above average. I know it's mid-month, but with no racing on Monday, I think punters are going to get stuck into this card. So Banker in the first leg, number 1, Rainbow Lorikeet. By 5 and 7 in the second leg, which is race 4. Those are Trippy Silk and All About Ronnie. Then 1, 3 and 9, like the Clappers, Lucha Verde and Incredible in the third leg. I've gone 5 and 10 in race 6, which is the fourth leg of the PA Gentleman Joe and Lucy the Pink. About 2 and 3 among the Clouds and Misty Cliffs. Misty Cliffs definitely an appetizing price for me. By Banker 5, Candy Town, the final leg, 1 and 12, Moya Wala Liga and Double Olympic.
That's Alistair's place accumulator. Alistair, thanks very much for your time. All the best and enjoy your week.
Thanks, Raheel. Sorry about the coughing and spluttering. I should brush that off in due course, and hopefully won't have to deal with that the next time we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it easy, man. And of course, to you as the punter, all the best with racing on Tuesday out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Hopefully, we've managed to guide you in the right direction, and it's a profitable day's racing for you.